out those hearts and let me know you can hear me. I've been having all kind of technical difficulties, but guess what? That's not stopping us, y'all. Okay? So, welcome to the Hood Hooded Podcast. I am your host, Dr. Cheapest Sunflower. Hey. So go ahead and grab your notebook, because we about to dive in it. Grab your notebook, grab you some tea, some coffee. I ain't gonna even hold y'all. I didn't know they had apple cider in pods. So I was like, I don't want to really drink coffee. I want to start transitioning into tea, because I'm not really a coffee drinker. I just started copying my daddy. Told me he drinking Maxwell House coffee every morning and stuff. So I was just trying to copy him a little bit. But I switched to the apple cider and tea. So let's get started. So as you can see from the title of the broadcast, we're talking about the dirty truth about money. See, the thing about me is I crack myself up. But anywho, I hope y'all really having a wonderful day. I'm trying to keep it light because what we're talking about today is a little disturbing, as usual. Normally, Fridays are financial literacy days, but I've been on this like wavelength of knowledge, so it couldn't wait. It can't wait till later. I have to be on this wavelength and put it out now because it's an urgency. You know, everybody's stressing about money, about the economy, about housing, about SNAP, about everything in this country. And this is all the result of history. We might not want to believe that, but it is the direct result of what has happened in history. Absolutely, it has everything to do with racism, and you know, that just comes back as karma, and that doesn't benefit anybody. I mean, are we actually waking up in this country to realize that that doesn't benefit anybody? No one at all. Not your mama, not your daddy, not your cousin, not your sister, not your brother, not your neighbor, not nobody. I mean, well, I take that back. It does benefit the a select few in multiple ways, but in the long run, it is unsustainable. It can't last forever. So we want to talk about the money today because everybody is familiar with the money. They're going to have fun with the money. But the thing about it is when you come from the hood, you come from poverty, sometimes you can start chasing the racks and then the racks start chasing you. Meaning, what do I mean by that? What do you mean by that, Dr. Sean? You give your whole life away for the dollar, not knowing that your creative gene, your DNA, it has the code to unlock wealth. And not only that, your wealth was stolen if you are indigenous to America. I'm not talking about Native Americans, I'm talking about the Amerindians. The true autochthonous, indigenous, copper tone, melanated Niji, the Abalachi, the Seminole, the Creek, the Choctaw, not the Choctaw, the Choctaw. You see how you let it roll off your tongue? The Choctaw. The Choctaw. Okay? So long gone are the days when y'all can come around and just be trolls and bully and say certain shit and, you know, the stuff you learned in high school history class. Them days are out the window, my friends. It's out the window. It stinks up the room. You might want to grab you some of this Bella Vita off of the TikTok shop because the hate is stinking up the room. It's stinking up the room. The things y'all do, putting people like this on the money. Andrew Jackson, he stinks up the room. They be throwing this down, throwing it around, but we're gonna get into how this little mini billboard keeps us psychologically enslaved, always chasing a dollar and never chasing freedom and never chasing the freedom of your spirit. Because if you had that type of freedom, you would want to get away from this enslaving government as a whole, as a unit, as a whole people. We wouldn't just be like, well, you know, that was the past. Well, you know, get over it. Hell no. You get over it, bitch. Okay, let me just spray some of this Bella Vita on your ass. Get the fuck up out of here with your stinking ass. Okay? You can get this on the TikTok shop. I'm going to be honest with y'all. These are okay. Like, some people get on here, they be like, oh my God, it smells so good. I do have it tabbed below. They okay for like a light day. But it's not my favorite scent. Okay? But if you need to get rid of some hate, get you some Bella Vita. Alright? So, that was totally off the topic. But, y'all get my point. Alright, that was totally off the topic. We're finna get into the real topic. I just want to give a little time for everybody to come in the room so we can tell this whole ideology of currency apart. I'm not saying don't make the money, but don't let the money make you. You feel what I'm saying? Like, make the money, but don't let it make you. Don't let it stress you, kill you. Because it was never set up for you. Okay? So, OCO to the Niji in the building. Sending love to the ancestors. During this next hour together, guys, we're going to get into currency. And let me pull up my little handy dandy notebook so y'all can see where we at with it. I'm getting better with learning how to do this TikTok stuff. So, I just had one I wanted to use, this one. So we're going to use this one. We're going to start talking about this guy. No. Let's not talk about him first. Let's talk about this guy. Okay? We're going to talk about him first. I'm finna catch y'all up on, there we go. Y'all see him. This guy. This guy. Do you see what it says? Okay, let me turn the music down because we're getting into it now. We're going to get into it now. We're going to get into it. So, the currency of colonization and the dirty truth about America's money men. This is people who are on the money here in America. This is George Washington. He enslaved 300 plus people in Mount Vernon. We talked a little bit about him yesterday. Oh, hold on, guys. Y'all, hold on. Hold on, Twitch. I got y'all on the wrong page. Now, we caught up. So, George Washington enslaved 300 plus people. Boom. Okay. So this is the currency of colonization, the dirty truth about America's money men. This is your full, fierce, lyrical, educational moment to really kind of break more generational curses. Because what I've learned is that there isn't just one generational curse. There's multiple generational curses. And you may say, what is a generational curse, Dr. Sean? It's something that I experienced, that I overcame and broke for my tribe. Because guess what? Back in those days when these people were around, being a dentist, when you look like me, was banned. Reading was banned. Writing was banned. Everything was fucking banned. Getting together with your tribe was banned. Traveling was banned. Walking was banned. Eating was banned. Having your own time was banned. Looking in the mirror and saying I love myself was banned by these guys and their ancestors who still around us today. Okay? So, tribe, today, we're cracking open the vault they sealed with myth and money. These faces on these notes are no heroes. Oh no, they're no heroes like you might think. When you go to the church and you say, God is going to bless me because I'm giving the church some money, I'm handing in $1 bill. I'm giving them the money. Some kind of way, me giving this money with these faces on it, who were directly involved with the church, and the church was directly involved with enslaving people. It actually funded slavery. Most people don't know. The reason why these people and their ancestors thought that it was okay to come to Turtle Island and, seize the land is because they got that message from their Pope in the 1300s with the doctrines of discovery, which they have now renounced in 2023. The Pope came out and said, oh no, we don't want to have nothing to do with that. It's too late, motherfucker. You done spent how many years since the 1300s seizing land in Africa, seizing land everywhere, if people weren't in fact Christians. And if you didn't read the Bible, for goodness sakes, they made being unemployment illegal. You could go to jail for being unemployment, and during these pea-brain people's time, if you look like me and you was unemployed, you was going to jail. I know y'all heard about the prisons suing some states because they're under, what is it? The facility is under the capacity that they would like. Where do you think that comes from? Where do y'all think that comes from? Alright? So we're going to crack open the vault. These faces on these notes, like I said, they are no heroes. They are warnings. They are mirrors showing the machinery that allowed and swallowed the Niji copper tone people whole. And then they printed our oppressors on paper and called it the legal tender. Now what I'm learning is that everything that's legal, it looked like it's really illegal. But with this government, they do things that are totally illegal, call it legal, so they can make more of this. And steal more, be more evil, teach hate, teach all of this stuff, and call themselves a government. How? This ain't for my people. No, it's not. Let's get it straight. These men did not just lead a nation. They designed the prison walls. Do you hear me? They didn't just lead a nation. They designed the prison. They designed the slave code. They designed these things. These people right here. The laws, the heavy artillery, the military, the banks, the patrols, the codes, the currency. Every bill whispers, remember who we reward. Who do we reward? Every bill, every dollar that you see whispers. We're going to always shove it in your face. Remember who we reward. But today we whisper back. We remember who we reclaim. So let's pull those receipts and let's get into it. The first man of the hour, you've been seeing him on the screen already, is the ungreat George Washington. On the money, on the dollar bill. George Washington was the plantation general. His ancestry goes back to British immigrant stock. George Washington. So he came from another land. He was an immigrant, came over here, with his people with the psycho insane brain. These are basically like, how they have movies about like serial unalivers. These were who these people were. They were just serially going around doing these things that they thought was ordained by their Lord. They would even say, oh, dear Lord, if these people don't listen, they're going to be cursed. Their kids going to be cursed. They write things like this and think that it's right. So a lot of shit shouldn't surprise you today. But the problem is, a lot of us don't know that we still under the control of these guys. And they dead and gone. Okay. So this guy enslaved over 300 people. He had 123 plus of his own people that he enslaved in Mount Vernon. But he also enslaved Martha Washington's second husband's or first husband's people that he owned, his property. This guy. on the dollar bill. So every time you see this, this is a propaganda for them to remind you without even having to say a fucking word. We don't give a damn about you. We gonna highlight our heroes who control you. His personal actions when he was in office, he chased freedom seekers using the slave patrol. Now we talked about the slave patrol yesterday. So he chased freedom seekers, people who didn't want to be under the control, using slave patrol. Now he was the president now. He used the slave patrol. He helped enforce it, but people don't know the slave patrol is 100 years older than the government. It's 100 years older than the government. Before the first president, they been had slave patrols before the first president was even elected. Slave patrols were around since 1704 when they were seizing lands, squatting on land, giving away land, stealing land. It was around in 1704, South Carolina and the Dirty South. George Washington didn't become president until like, was it 1789, I think? I could be wrong, but I think that's the year. And even then, he had people captured, kidnapped, homicide, genocide, democide, all of that. Oh, he was down for it. And what do you get for that type of shit here in America? You get put on the money. You get to laugh in our face and make us take this money to church and say, God bless me. How? You think God have anything to do with this? These people? I'm just trying to make it make sense, because it don't make no damn sense to me. I don't want nothing to do with it, but we're stuck and captured into this system where this is the billboard. This is the billboard. Willow said, no, he didn't. What do you mean? No, who didn't? No, who didn't what? Okay? So, George Washington chased freedom seekers using the slave patrol. I don't know if you're saying, no, he didn't that, but yes, he did. He broke families apart, ordered the recapture of Ona Judge, a melanated indigenous woman. Go look it up for yourself. You don't gotta believe shit I say. He forced labor until people died. This guy. Alright. What were his policies? The Fugitive Slave Act was one of his policies. The Fugitive Slave Act. Turned needy people into federal property. Turned indigenous people into federal property. How did a dollar bill enslave people? I mean, I think it's going over your head. I think it's going over your head. You just want to be like a troll. I don't got time. Like, I don't understand how to explain it to you. Okay? So, if you don't get that part, you damn sure ain't gonna get nothing else I'm talking about. Because that, what you just asked was like, how did a dollar bill enslave people? I don't understand. You know what propaganda means? Let's look at the definition of propaganda. And then we'll see how the dollar bill enslaved people. I had to mute you because you're saying stuff that really, I mean, I guess it's a valid question. I guess. So let's look up the word propaganda so you can kind of see. Propaganda is communication that is used primarily to influence or persuade an audience to a further agenda. So the further agenda of this is to remind you that these people who enslave people control you. That may be a little too deep for you. I get it. It ain't like this is elementary knowledge. You really got to have a deeper level. You really got to have some humanity in your DNA. You really got to not be raised by evil and try to fight everything. You really got to be a reader to be a leader. You really got to understand what evil is. If you don't understand evil, then you're going to try to defend evil. I've been there, done that with people who are evil, want to argue, want to comment. No. We just block your ass. Well, now I don't even block you. I just mute you. In actuality, you know what? In actuality, I should have learned from someone else. I should learn. I gotta learn something. I changed my mind. I am gonna block you. Peace out. Bye bye. Cause I don't got time. I'm talking to my people, so I don't got time. I don't got time to explain to people who want to be on this side because everybody think that this is right. The whole point is to tell you about the propaganda. Damn it. Okay. So this guy, let's get back to this guy. Since we know that this is propaganda, in case you don't know, somebody said, how does the dollar enslave people? I'm talking about the people on the dollar. Catch up a little bit. Like, I hope I don't have to go that far back. We ain't talking about that. So George Washington, he ordered the recapture of Ona Judge. He forced labor until people died. So people would go their whole life never being free, working for this guy. And he encouraged this type of behavior. I know it might be shocking to some people because in school they learned that this was a hero. This is the first president. This was the this. He saw indigenous Niji, which was my people, the Mississippians, the mound builders, the autochthonous inhabitants of Turtle Island. He saw us as like worthless. When he made the policy for the Fugitive Slave Act in 1793, he turned our people into federal property. Federal property now. He turned melanated people into federal property. Now, he got put on the money for that. He expanded the militias used as early slave patrols. So even though the slave patrol was 100 years before the government, and it was, several decades before he was even thought about or born, he was born into this, the first president. In fact, he only became the first president because he believed in enslavement. So when people talk about the Constitution, all this bullshit, that ain't have nothing to do with us. That had something to do with controlling the indigenous people, lying to them, making them think they was from Africa, stealing their land, disenfranchising them, and trying to make them work and build the country that they own for little or nothing and get no reward. They saw all the things that we had, the gold, the riches, the land, the fruit, the veggies, everything, and they just had to say, we have to seize this. The Pope said this was our shit now because the Pope said it. He sent us here, so in the name of the Lord, this is ours now. So he was all down with creating things like the Fugitive Slave Act, but they wouldn't teach you that in school. Yet this guy was behind the scenes, making moves. He saw the indigenous Niji, the melanated people, autochthonous copper tone. I say all that because if you black, that's what you are. You're indigenous. I know you think you're not, but you are. That's the generational curse. So if you confused, it's because you generationally cursed. This is the deepest curse I ever discovered in my life. And you gotta know I ain't no idiot. I done been through hood to hood. I done been through school. I done aced the test. I done been through undergrad. I done been through the doctoral level. I done been through the master's classes. I done been in the science classes. And nothing that I have ever learned in my life shocks me as much as this fucking fake ass history. Nothing shocks me more. Nothing woke me up more. Nothing ignited my spirit more, because when I was learning history, with the lies they was telling, it just did something to your spirit, where they teach you to that they hate you, so now you have to hate yourself. You have to hate melanin. You need to kill each other. You need to do all this stuff. And we gotta unfuck our brain from thinking like this. We gotta undo the mad science that has been done on our body, the experiment. Did you guys know that slavery was really just an experiment? It was an experiment, and this is the result of the experiment. The Census Bureaus was them doing research on us, asking us questions about the inhabitants. So just think about it. The time that the slave patrol going on is the time that he became in office. He became the first president 1789, right? And then they started doing research on the indigenous Niji, my people. I have my records, where they discovered we were Indian. Well, they already knew this the whole time, but they didn't want to write it down. They realized, to research them, we had to change the name. They started changing the name, doing shit like that. It's just sad. It's genocide. It's unfair. It still exists in the fabric of America today, and I'm fucking tired of it. I'm tired of it, man. I am so like tired of it. Like it's just like bother me so bad how people are being treated in this day and age, and how this country still allows some bullshit to go on all the time. And they actually the leaders of it. They actually the leaders of the corruptness. They actually the leaders of all of this type conquistador, pirate brain, bird brain, feces brain type mess. They're the leaders of it. The chief executive officer of the bullshit. Yeah. So George Washington's religion was Anglican from the Episcopal Church, both tied to colonial hierarchy. Yeah, he was religious. They all are religious. They all go to church. So yeah, he was the first president, yes, but he was also the first CEO of the plantation economy. His wealth was stolen bodies, stolen land. That's why he's the first face on the money, because he did all the stealing. Him and his ancestors. Did you think it was for something else? You thought it was because he was some type of hero? Or did you not know it was because he was the leader in stealing bodies and stealing land? He was like, yeah, I'm down for this shit. Let's do it, guys. These people don't mean nothing. They can't think for themselves. What? You can't make this up. Next we get into another evil guy, because I just had it on my mind to figure out who these people are. Thomas Jefferson. I know y'all heard of him too. Let's go to Thomas Jefferson. Which one is that one? Thomas Jefferson. Guess what? This guy enslaved 600 people. He got put on the $2 bill. Oh, y'all tying it together now, huh? $2 bill for being one of the most evilest people and sticking to the agenda that you could ever meet in your life. If you can imagine how evil they were behind the scenes when they were put on that suit and then going in their house and authorize all this evil shit, make all these evil laws. When was Thomas Jefferson the president? I don't know. Thomas Jefferson was America's founding father. Okay, America's founding father and the third president. He drafted the Declaration of Independence now. How the fuck? You got 600 people against their will, kidnapped, trafficked, doing all kind of heinous things to them, eating them, all this stuff. But Thomas Jefferson, who they put on the $2 bill, enslaved 600 people. The third president of the United fucking States. From 1801 to 1809. 1801 to 1809. And was an American founding father. This was a founding father, they call him. They don't call him an enslaver. They call him a founding father. And he was a primary author of the Declaration of Independence. So when you have a Declaration of Independence written by this third president who enslaved 600 people, who was down with the slave patrol, all these things, who was catching people, kidnapping, all these things, he gets put on the $2 bill. And he authored the Declaration of Independence, served as the first Secretary of State. He was also responsible for the Louisiana Purchase. This guy. These are the people giving away our land, taking the lead, not giving a damn about who we are, making all the laws, and y'all want to pass these people around in church. Y'all want to pass these people around and act like they so holy, so saint. Teach their kids about, oh, do you know who the third president is? Well, what did he do? Oh, he made the Declaration of Independence, but what else did he do? He was unaliving people, enslaving people. He had that mindset. And he got a reward. You see his reward. Where they do that at? Only in America. Only in fucking America do they do that at. That's where they do that at. That's where. And it's fucking sad. It's sad, man. So it says Thomas Jefferson was the nation's first U.S. Secretary of State under George Washington. Oh, what a fucking surprise. And then the nation's second vice president under John Adams. Jefferson was a leading proponent of democracy, republicanism, and natural rights. How? What natural rights when you come from another place and enslave people on a land you're not even from? He produced formative documents, decisions at the state, national, and international level. He was born into the colony of Virginia's planter class, dependent on slave labor. Jefferson represented Virginia in the Second Continental Congress, which unanimously adopted the Declaration of Independence, which he wrote while he was enslaving us. So you know it don't have nothing to do with us, guys. It don't have nothing to do with us. Jefferson's advocacy for individual rights, what the fuck that mean when you enslaving people taking their rights, including freedom of thought? How? You mean freedom of thought for white people who enslaving people? It don't make no fucking sense to me. Freedom of speech. How? Y'all just saying a bunch of bullshit that sound like it makes sense, but let's just be honest. When you was making the freedom of speech, Declaration of Independence, freedom of religion, you was definitely not talking about my people. Because why? You was having people enslaved the whole time you was making these freaking laws. Thank you for joining the fan club, Queen Law, and getting your heart mean. The whole time. But y'all talk about freedom, foundation, revolution. He inspired the 13 colonies in their revolutionary fight against Britain. It had nothing to do with us. So when you celebrate 4th of July, Independence Day, we wasn't independent. We couldn't even read a book. He was making laws to the point where you couldn't gather with your tribe. You couldn't read a book. It was illegal for you not to have a job. They made unemployment illegal. It was illegal for you not to go to church. It was illegal. You had to go. It was illegal for you to be homeless. And what's now? It's illegal for you to be homeless. You think shit changed? You think it changed? You think it changed? Fuck out of here, man. Ain't nothing changed. Ain't nothing changed. And that's why I realized. So he was the philosopher of chains. Thomas Jefferson. The philosopher of chains. Where did he come from? Where did his ancestors come from? This so-called third president who's making the independence, the Declaration of Independence, who's talking about freedom of speech, freedom of all of this stuff. It was not talking about my fucking ancestors, who they were doing the Census Bureau on, asking them who they was when you so-called brought them from Africa. Ain't you supposed to already know that? Why they listed as inhabitants? I'd like to know. Why? Do y'all know what inhabitants mean? It's kind of like somebody, oh, well, how does a dollar, stop being an idiot. Stop trying to be dumb. It ain't that hard. It ain't rocket science. Catch up. In the day of AI kicking y'all ass. It's telling the truth. Sometimes it be lying. Because it's colonized. So they try to colonize it, but it's just all over. The knowledge is so powerful. That's why I can't let it go. I can't talk about financial literacy. This is financial literacy. Is it not in the hood? Is it not? Does this break something in your brain and let you know that this ain't what it is? This country was built on bullshit. People sitting here making laws and shit talking about freedom of this, freedom. That ain't have nothing to do with my people. When y'all was making these laws about being free, having a freedom of speech, religion, all this, you had people chained up, locked up, harassing them, sending a slave patrol on them, which turned into the police, who still harass black men today. That's why they get locked up 10 times more than white people. That's why the prison system in the United States is the number one in the world. And they only are The United States is only 4% of the world, but they lead in imprisoning people. The chain gang, convict leasing. The prisons right now suing the state because they don't have enough inmates. Guess what they're gonna do? This is why Florida won't legalize certain things, because guess what? They can't harass you no more. Places like New York had to legalize certain things because the police use that as a target to lock up melanated people. Now every corner there's a dispensary. They buying it. Who you see going in there? Their ancestors. Fuck out of here, man. So this guy, the philosopher of the chains, on the $2 bill, he had British colonizer bloodline. So he was from Great Britain. He even British, but he the third president. How the fuck? You ain't even from here. He enslaved 600 people. What were his crimes? Thomas Jefferson asked. Pregnant enslaved teenager Sally Hemings. That was his crime. He was raping, doing all these disgusting things to these melanated people who he captured against their will, took their land, and making them have babies. Sally Hemings, yeah, she was a teenager. He sold children he fathered. That was Thomas Jefferson. Yeah. So he got all the money for that. I'm trying to figure out what the fuck good about him, because I ain't seen nothing worthy of putting him on not even a piece of cotton. I ain't seen nothing worthy of even him being elected. But you have these systems going on where people was electing people like this because this represented their mindset back then. This represented the mindset back then. So he sold children he fathered, ran breeding farms disguised as philosophy. Man, that's disgusting. But this is disgusting. Hold on. Man. He ran a breeding farm disguised as philosophy? What the fuck is a breeding farm? Oh my gosh. Now about to piss me off with they chat. It's about what? I don't know. Hold on. Tell me more about Thomas Jefferson breeding farm. Cause what the fuck? I ain't know that, guys. This thing's Dr. Sean breathe in. Let me just breathe. Let me just breathe. It said just breathe. This is why you can't let nobody tell you who you are. They have you following people like this where they fucking hype up fucking you fucking bitch. Oh. Dr. Sean breathe in. I'm gonna walk you through this with clarity, courage, and no sugarcoating. Because when we speak on these things, we speak for our ancestors. Period. We speak for that truth that was buried under propaganda. We looked this word up earlier. This means putting people on billboards that's on a little piece of paper so that the people can always remember. It's kind of like a generational curse. When we talk about generational curses, this is one of them. It's a constant reminder in your face. You got people throwing money, everything, got the enslaver's face on it. You don't even understand the deep fucking propaganda behind this shit, man. This shit is fucking sad, man. It's disgusting, man. I ain't know Thomas Jefferson was fucking doing it like that. The fuck, bro? A breeding farm? The fuck is that? No wonder why you got 600. He has the most. He was the president with the most people enslaved on his properties. This guy. It's fucking sad, man. It's fucking sad. So we're gonna speak the truth for our ancestors, for what was buried with propaganda, textbooks, and myth making. So when somebody try to tell you who you are, you better look them in their face and let them know who you are. You don't get to tell me who I am. You don't get the license to fucking talk to me. The way you did my ancestors, the way y'all fucking do things and still doing it now, it don't make no fucking sense. Thomas Jefferson's so-called breeding farm is one of the darkest, most deliberately concealed parts of his plantation economy. Yeah, you ain't think we was gonna find this out about you, Thomas Jefferson. Well, we calling Thomas Jefferson to the front. Bring your ass up here, Thomas Jefferson. Bring your evil ass up. Okay? So historians don't always use the term breeding farm in official literature because it exposes the sexual violence at the core of slavery. It undermines the heroic myth of the founding fathers. And it spotlights Jefferson's exploitation of children born into enslavement, man. Wow. The function, intent, and economic logic of Monticello and his popular forest plantation did mirror the systems of forced breeding seen in Virginia. Jefferson wrote the playbook for treating enslaved women's reproduction as a profit factory. You fucking bitch. Damn. Damn. And you think he got something to do with this is just sad, man. Jefferson's own words: enslaved children as capital and increase. Wow. Wow. Jefferson wrote in 1820, I consider a woman who brings a child every 2 years as more profitable than the best man of the farm. That was a quote Thomas Jefferson wrote in the 1820s, and look where his face at. Fuck out of here, Thomas Jefferson. Fuck out of here, man. This is fucking evil, man. This is just evil that I'm reading. It's just evil. But you know what? I have to do this for my ancestors. I have to tell their story because y'all ain't finna whitewash and overlook and bury our history because you think that, oh no, we need to make them be the founding fathers and all this good stuff, put them on billboards and stuff on the money and stuff, and let's cover up what you did. We will never forget. It ain't ever gonna be forgotten. It ain't ever gonna be like, oh, let's just come by. No, let's come by. No. How about no? How about no? Okay, so I'm gonna quote you what Thomas Jefferson said again, so you can know. Next time you want to slang them dollars. Next time you want to give all your time away, your creativity, your mastermind, your confidence, your swag, your intelligence for some fucking dollars. $10 an hour, 15. No. I need you to boss up. I need you to treat this money like it ain't nothing. You can get it in your sleep. Stop playing with yourself. Stop being brainwashed. Stop being generational cursed. We gotta break the code. Scared of what? Scared of some people who did stuff like this? I can't be no more scared because you already did everything you can do and you're still trying to do stuff. You the big bad boogeyman? I think fucking not. I think it's just evil. I think it's just evil. It's just something where the genes don't have a certain gene where you just know evil only. And you think evil is fucking right, and you think because you make a law that the shit is illegal when it's fucking evil. You call stuff that's evil legal. Y'all made evil legal. You made evil legal. Fuck out of here, man. So Thomas Jefferson, he said, quote, and I quote, I consider a woman who brings a child every 2 years is more profitable than the best man on the farm. So he was going in, doing all this stuff to kids. He on the fucking money. So y'all literally put a child molester on the money. Let's just be honest. Okay, can we be honest, America? You put the child molester on the money who was breeding our people? Fuck out of here, man. I don't fuck with America. I fuck with Turtle Island, the American indigenous people. I don't fuck with the government. I don't fuck with America. After learning about these guys who y'all highlight as a hero, come on. Is this a hero? This is your hero? Please don't speak to me. Don't talk to me. I don't care what you think. No, if you think that this is a hero, no. He explicitly calculated the value of enslaved infants. I can't. Woo, woosah. Calm down, Dr. Sean. Calm the fuck down. How do you calculate the value of an enslaved infant? How? How is a baby born and you calculating their value as an infant, saying that your life is nothing and y'all put these bitches on money? This shit is evil, man. I might have to end this shit because this shit is evil. This is what propaganda does. This shit is fucking evil, man. America, y'all government suck. And I wish I could get the fuck out of it. I don't want to be a part of this shit. I just want to be sovereign. I want y'all to leave my people alone. Stop fucking harassing us with your hateful ass. The fuck, man? Thomas Jefferson, you bitch. Fucking bitch, man. Thomas Jefferson explicitly calculated, it says, the value of enslaved infants, the profit margin from forced reproduction, and the financial gain for natural increase. This is the exact definition of a breeding operation. Thomas Jefferson, you fucking bitch. He logged the birth rates of enslaved women. He studied which women produce reliable increase, and he called childbirth a crop. Man. So if you evil, don't fucking talk to me. I'm blocking your ass. I don't want you to fucking talk to me if you evil. Leave me alone. You fucking evil bitches. He called childbirth a crop. He treated enslaved children as biological dividends. Thomas Jefferson, the third president, one of the founding fathers. Jefferson enslaved over 600 people across his lifetime. At Monticello and Poplar Forest, over 70% of the enslaved population were minors at any given time. Child molester. Thomas Jefferson. Over 70% of the enslaved population were minors at any given time. Birth records surged precisely during times Jefferson was in debt, meaning reproduction became his financial strategy. So when he became in debt, he made the women have babies to pay his debt, to sell them. From 1774 to 1826, Jefferson freed almost none of the children born there. He enslaved children were automatically owned by him. Their labor paid off his debt and funded his lifestyle. This was a systematic reproductive enslavement. Thomas Jefferson. Jefferson owned the Hemings family, his wife's half-siblings. He owned Sally Hemings, who was the half-sister of his wife, Martha, a child when he started sexual relationships with her, unable to legally consent. The mother of 6 children by Jefferson. All 6 were enslaved at birth. His legal property. Even his kids. Well, he enslaved his own kids. So when you think they care about you, listen, they would enslave their own kids if you got melanin. That's fucking sad. Damn, Thomas Jefferson, you fucking bitch. I mean, American history is fucking one of the evil. He's a Democrat. He's a Democrat. That's what I would call it. A Democrat. That stuff don't mean nothing. Divide and conquer, guys. They all on the same side. Democrat, Republican, same looking side, same side. I gotta get off of this evil guy. He just too evil for me. It says he freed only the sons, never the daughters. You wanna know why? Because he wanted to rape his daughters and make them have kids too. He had sexual access to enslaved girls, children born into enslavement, and selective release to protect enslavers' public image. It's okay, guys. He's everything. I know. But it's just sad reading this. Why Virginia became a breeding territory. I didn't expect to find this today. It says, I think my phone is about to die. This is fucking crazy. Let me get myself together, guys. I didn't know this about Thomas Jefferson. I got here. I love you. I love you too. So Thomas Jefferson. It says after the Atlantic slave trade was banned in 1808, which we know we were already here, okay? But they was doing whatever they was doing, bringing people to the Caribbean, all types of stuff. Natural increase became the backbone of slave economy. Thomas Jefferson was one of the loudest voices pushing the economic model. Demand in the Deep South, cotton, sugar, rice skyrocketed. Virginia supplied the human crop. Jefferson's plantation produced enslaved people, trained them, sold, and leased their labor. This is why scholars often classify Monticello as part of the slave breeding economy, even if they avoid the term farm. So they were basically farming us to be slaves. It's sad, man. The myth is Jefferson was a complicated man who hated slavery but couldn't escape it. The truth is Jefferson engineered systems to expand enslaved populations because it enriched him. He was all for it. A myth is Monticello was a farm with enslaved workers. The truth is Monticello ran a forced reproduction, forced labor, and generational enslavement camp. The myth is that Thomas Jefferson, he loved freedom because he wrote, what was it, the Declaration of Independence, talk about freedom of speech, but yet you was forcing little kids to have your babies so that you could sell them to pay your debt. I just can't believe this type of stuff, man. He loved the profits generated by enslaved women's wombs. Thank you for sending the gift, Texas Lady 8995. Enslaved women endured constant surveillance of their menstruation, forced pairings, rape by enslavers and overseers, punishment for infertility, their babies being taken, sold, and trained for labor, children fathered by white men being enslaved despite shared blood. Jefferson's ledger even show, now this is in his ledger, guys, they're talking about his ledger, women labeled by fertility, children listed as assets, and human beings reduced to arithmetic. Why does this matter today, Dr. Sean, you might ask? Because the United States still praises Thomas Jefferson. They have monuments to honor him. They have textbooks that sanitize him. Schools that bear his name. Meanwhile, my people, the Niji, American, Indian, copper-tone, melanated people who have been lied to, said we was from Africa, never got repair, restitution. We still have generational trauma from this and still live under systems Those plantations built. You don't have to say 8995. It's been corrupt from inception. Texas lady. Okay, Texas lady, I got you. Yeah, it's been corrupt from inception. I didn't expect to go in that deep on Thomas Jefferson, but wow. That's why reading is powerful. When I saw he ran a breeding farm disguised as philosophy, I knew that it was going to be wow. Policies. He wrote all men created equal except the melanated people. This is what he wrote. He said all men are created equal. So when you read stuff like that, just know that he wasn't talking about melanin. He designed early black codes, pushed westward expansion into indigenous territory, and he wrote freedom like it was poetry, but lived slavery like it was law. The ink of the Declaration was barely dry before he started selling babies. We're going to get off of you, Thomas Jefferson, because you done pissed me the hell off, man. Let's move on to another one. Abraham Lincoln. Oh, Abraham, bring your ass to the front. What the hell you done did, Abraham? What the hell Abraham Lincoln done did? Oh, Abraham Lincoln. They hype you up too. I see your big ass statue. He was the conditional emancipator. The truth about Abraham Lincoln is he did not believe in racial equality. He supported colonization and deportation of freed people. My question is, how you supporting deportation of freed people when you so-called just brought these people over here? That's because we was sovereign when you arrived, and y'all just continue to try to keep us blind, enslave our mind, try to tell us to go somewhere else because you just want to control the land. He allowed the Union States to keep slavery, Abraham Lincoln. The Emancipation Proclamation freed almost nobody initially. And he participated in indigenous genocide by ordering the hanging of 38 Dakota men, one of the largest, it is the largest mass execution in U.S. history. But he gets put on the $5 bill. He supported white labor dominance, protected federal systems benefiting plantations. They tell our children Lincoln saved us, but the fine print says otherwise. He freed the economy, not the people. Don't get it twisted. Please don't get it twisted. We're going to move off of you, Abraham. I'm just like over y'all presidents and y'all lying. Next, we're going to get into Alexander Hamilton. Now, he was one that I was like, Alexander Hamilton, I didn't really know much about him. So I was interested to see how Alexander got his ass on the money. Because every time they're on the money, you know, it's never like, as you can see here, from what I'm teaching today, if you're on the money, you had something to do with unaliving us. Where are you reading this real information from? Well, this real information is all over in history. A lot of times I will use Perplexity. If you have Perplexity AI, you can go to Perplexity AI and pretty much ask any question, and it will tie you to all the sources. But a lot of this stuff is in the Library of Congress. A lot of this stuff is in the Library of Congress from the government. It's not hidden, because you got to think, this is all, what is this? All those Senate records, all those meetings they have, they record everything. But because it's hundreds and hundreds of pages, people not going to go and read it. But because you know the timeline and the laws that pass at certain times, these laws are actually stamped based on history. So if you go and look up, when was this law discovered? And then I just tie pieces together like a puzzle. It's just like a puzzle for me. And I just discovered things like, what in the world? I don't even be thinking that. The thing is, I'm not even going like thinking like, okay, I'm going to find, because my question was, how many of the presidents on the money were involved with colonization and oppression? And this is what I discovered. Like, what? All of them. Anybody on the money is involved. That don't sit well with me. It just unlocked generations of curses in my head. It changes the way I see money. It changes the way I see the world. It takes so many curses off of my brain when I learn this stuff. Even though I am so emotional, I'm a crybaby. I'm gonna cry. I'm gonna get it out because it pisses me off. I'm just picturing back then, like it's just I don't know. I'm speechless at this point. I'm speechless. Trump trying to erase. Yeah, Trump trying to do erasing, but the erasing is over because you know why, guys? I realize that's why knowledge is power. This is why they had to make it illegal to read and write because their ancestors wrote down so much evil history. They documented everything evil. They had to try to change our identity so we wouldn't tie back to this evil history, but everything is lining up. And it's sad. It's really sad that Trump, even to this day, that's why it's important. These presidents, once you realize they all stem from the same system. They all have the same mindset. Even though we fought for equality, we fought for our sovereignty, they don't want to ever give that up. They don't ever want you to know these things that I'm talking about. They want you to think these are heroes. That's why they put them here. Like they were prestigious. But this guy, you probably don't even know why he on the $10 bill. Yeah, right now. Propaganda. You don't know why he on the $10 bill. But we're going to figure out today why he's on the $10 bill. You already know I'm finna go in. So, this guy, Alexander Hamilton. So, every time you have this $10 bill up and you looking at Alexander Hamilton ass, I want you to punch his ass real quick. Thump his ass in the forehead real quick. He was born in Caribbean British colonies. So, he was from the Caribbean British colonies. Scottish colonizer father. He has a Scottish colonizer father, a French colonial mother. So the Scottish and the French colonizers were his mother and father. Raised in an economy built on mass enslavement, and Alexander Hamilton on the money. He didn't own many individually, but he handled the books for slave trading merchants, plantation owners, colonial sugar companies, slave mortgage transactions. What the fuck is that? I can't even go look it up right now because I know my head gonna be blown and I'm gonna be on here fucking pissed off. But he handled the books for slave mortgage transactions. Receipts show Hamilton recorded sales of human beings. He recorded the sales of my ancestors, managed the accounting for slave owners, and profited from slave-backed credit systems. Y'all hearing this or nah? How the hell he get on the $10 you ask? It's always gonna result to some kind of way they oppressing us and doing some shit to us. And whoever was the leader at that time, they going on the money. Cause it's a constant reminder. So they got him on the money because hey, these are the people who made the money even possible because they the ones who enslaved the people who made the money, who picked the cotton. And who they stole the land from. So we gotta highlight them. We gotta remind ourselves, hey, why Trump say make America great again? These are people who they thought was great. Is it clicking or nah? You fucking lunatics. Receipts show Hamilton recorded sales of human beings. All of that type of stuff. What policies did he create? You ask while he was doing all of this plantation, slavery, economy type stuff. This immigrant, this colonizer, and his lame ass family. What did he do? What policies did he create? He created the U.S. Treasury. The same U.S. Treasury that we have today? Yeah, he created the National Bank. He created federal credit, taxes, and customs. So when you talk about taxes, customs, all the things we got going on now, people can't pay their bills, people complain about taxes, he's the one who's responsible for it. And where his face at? On the $10 bill. Yeah. He built the money machine that financed the Indian Wars. Oh, Indian Wars. Oh, there's that word again. Y'all better know who the Indians is. We was at war. Because the end product of war is being a prisoner of the war. And who's the prisoners of the war? Might I add? Who's 50% of the prisoners? Might I add? So who's the real Indians? Might you ask? Stop fucking playing with us. He financed plantation expansion. He ain't trying to shut it down. He was put on the money because he financed it. plantation expansion, slave patrol funding. So he was the first one to fund the slave patrol, who we now know as the who? The police. This guy. That's why they call him the banker of the slave empire. That's why he's on the money. In case you were wondering, oh, well, damn, how he get on the money? Slave patrol funding. Land seizure infrastructure. Land seizure infrastructure. That's freaking crazy. He supported land seizure infrastructure. So when you ask why the Amerindian Coppertone Niji were land taken, in prison, all of these things, he was one of the ones responsible for it. He was. Okay? He wasn't a hero in the musical. No, he wasn't the hero. He was the architect of the cage. Hamilton built the financial skeleton that carried slavery on his back and crushed the Niji nations under its boots. Yes, he made oppression profitable. That's why they put him on the $10 bill. He's a patron saint of the paper system. So in case you was wondering what he did, yeah, he was the banker of the slave empire. When you see the U.S. Treasury, he's responsible. Taxes, all of that, he's responsible. We only got 2 more to go. Then I'm happy to be off of this subject, because these presidents be pissing me off. How they be so, they light them up, they hype them up like they was so fucking amazing, and they was everything the opposite. Next, we're gonna get into my arch nemesis. This is the one, you guys, that I absolutely despise. I mean, they say you're not supposed to hate people, but I honestly hate Andrew Jackson. Just because he was in my neck of the woods, where the Mississippian mound builders were, where the Appalachian Indians were, the Yamasee, the Seminole. He was in the whole dirty South, just unaliving us, making us POWs. He didn't give a fuck, honestly. Honestly, he was one who really, and he got on the money. We already know why he on the money, because he was one of them ones, boy. His whole DNA was 100% evil. He didn't have no type of good in it. He went to church and stuff, but he was 100% evil. Why? Because he was Scottish Irish colonizer. So the Irish, somebody said they was from the Irish. The Irish people were colonizers. They were colonizers. They the one who did this. So Andrew Jackson, the one I'm talking about now, he was Scottish Irish colonizer. He enslaved over 200 people. Andrew Jackson. At his plantation, the Hermitage, in Tennessee. So you ever hear Hermitage in Tennessee? If you in Tennessee, this the motherfucker they talk about. His plantation, the Hermitage. What was his policies, you might ask? The Indian Removal Act, the Trail of Tears, enforced black codes. So my thing is, if y'all removing Indians and enforcing black codes, who the Indians? It's not the Native Americans. I'm not sorry. It's not them. It's not those people. These are people who participated, the Know Nothing Party, who agreed with enslaving. I'm going to get into the Know Nothing Party, not ours. We were kicked out of Ireland and sent to Barbados. What? Were you sent there for servitude? Were they sent for servitude? Or what? Tell me more. So, Andrew Jackson enforced the black codes. Well, we know the black codes were the laws that said we couldn't travel at night, we couldn't read, we couldn't write, we had to go to work, we had to go to church, we had to do all of these different things, right? So the slave patrol, the slave patrol strengthened under his rule. Andrew Jackson, he was all down with the slave patrol. That's why Florida has so many police now, because he was the governor of Florida. So he had to go to Florida to get the Indians under control, because they never conceded. They never gave up. That's why the Seminoles, the Yamasee, the Appalachians unconquered, right? So they had to bring Andrew Jackson to help the Spanish people get my people under control. And he went down with the Thule. He went down with the bomb. He went down with the whole shebang, and he didn't give a fuck. So he is the one who strengthened the slave patrol and the police. He did violent land seizures across the Southeast. That was Andrew Jackson. Violent land seizures, meaning war. He destroyed whole nations for cotton wealth. Now, who was these nations who was picking the cotton? Might you ask? That was my people. Stolen our land. Jackson didn't remove indigenous people. He executed sovereignty. Think about that. That we just lost our sovereignty, guys. He turned our homelands into graveyards. And what did he get for doing this to us, guys? He got put on the money. Clock that T. You finding a pattern here or not? So the next time you making it rain, know that you making it rain full of faces that was evil and keeping you oppressed. Moving on, because these presidents get on my damn nerve and I'm over it. The last one, Benjamin Franklin, and we gonna be done. The big money guy, Benjamin Franklin. All about the Benjamins, you know, all that bullshit. It's all about the Benjamins. No, it ain't. So Benjamin Franklin, on the $100 bill, he was the white supremacy think tank. His ancestry was English immigrant class. So he came from England. He owned enslaved people early in life. And he promoted population whitening. He wrote dark-skinned people were undesirable. He supported replacing indigenous people with Europeans. And he profited from colonial expansion. So he gave the world inventions but refused to see indigenous brilliance. He treated my people, the Neji, like a demographic problem and made him the face of wealth. Now the thing that I found funny about Benjamin Franklin is, let me see where I can find it. He enslaved. I was going to ask a very good question about him. I kind of lost the question that I was going to ask, but it was going to be a very good question. But I forgot what I was going to ask. But Benjamin Franklin enslaved people early in his life and supported population whitening. All right. That was him. And he did a lot more. He was, you know, all about supremacy and all of these different things. Let's see, when I did have a question about him. Let me go back. So I asked, how many people did he enslave? And it said that he had 1 to 7 people enslaved. And you know, I don't know. I'm over it, guys. I'm literally over it. So now you see that all the people on the money, who you hype up, who you make it rain, who you give away your time for money, are all connected to oppression. So don't sit here and feel like, oh my God, you know, it's just, I don't know what else to say. I don't know. I learned a lot today. So every dollar is a confession, a declaration of who this empire chose to honor and who it chose to erase. Each bill is a monument, a quiet propaganda piece, reminding you who the authors of the system were. But here's a twist they never planned for. We are still here. We are the descendants of sovereign Neji nations. They tried to bury under their currency. We're reclaiming the land, the story, the narrative, and the truth. The money may carry their faces, but the future carries ours. So share this information, teach this information, discuss it at your dinner tables, unlearn the lie, relearn the lineage, and reclaim our land. We are not minorities. We are the majority erased on paper. We are the Neji, the first, not the foreign, born of this soil, autochthonous, okay, inhabitants. So make sure you always know that. The next time you thinking about the almighty dollar and the founding fathers, they didn't find shit but evil. All right. So this is Dr. Chiefess Sunflower, and I'm just outdone today. with our session today. And I gotta get off of here and just. You're right. Yes, Texas lady. Um. So yeah, I gotta get off of here. Y'all have a wonderful day. Thank you for chiming in on TikTok. Being a number 2 gifter. Let me see. How can I? So we done with this. I don't know. Thank you for following, Lala, and anybody else who followed. I will see y'all tomorrow, hopefully 8 a.m. I have a whole topic to get into about, I don't know. I don't know, guys. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Have a good day on purpose. Make sure you living your best life. Thank you for sending the rose, or I think that was the heart, hand heart. Thank you for sending the hand heart, Queen La. I really appreciate it. Yeah, man. I'm a crybaby, so I gotta go and just get myself together, because history be having me toe up. But I'm gonna tell y'all the truth. I have to do this. To go from hood to hood, I realized one of the biggest piece of information that I was missing growing up was the history. It has changed my life. It has made me open my eyes to see the timeline of life from my ancestors all the way to now in a whole different light. I have a different heart for the melanated people here on Turtle Island, especially the men who are being targeted every single day, 10 times more than anybody else. I have a heart for the system, the people oppressed on the system who going through it every day, doing the minimum wage. That's just another form of enslaving people, making them work. Then they have the 50-year mortgage. Now that's another form that they're doing whatever they can to get you trapped. I'm gonna tell you the truth. This might sound crazy, but the government need to fail. They shut down, but they actually need to close down forever and ever and ever and ever. And until that point, really, you have to get back to being a tribe. Because why they made us being together illegal? Because they don't want you to depend on each other. Imagine all the rent that families and tribes pay separately to different landlords and owners. It just keeps you bogged down. But imagine if they all got a compound or one building and just live together, invested. I mean, everybody paying the same light bill. It has to go back to these times. Because too many people can't make it on their own. It's hard to make it on your own. And they know this, which is why these laws ban us from being a unit. So if these generational curses that they placed back then, they still exist today. Some people might not give a damn because they're benefiting off of the free land and all of the things that was given to free for people who don't look like me. So they don't give a damn. That's why they go around, oh shit, they have that type of energy because they don't understand what the hell I'm talking about. But for my people, we understand, we know, and we not playing around with ourselves no more. We not letting you control us no more. We not staying silent. We not following history. We gonna read, write, do whatever the hell we want to do. After knowing how y'all move, listen to y'all for what? Do you understand the laws? I'm done, guys. I can't go backwards. I love y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in. I'ma see y'all tomorrow. Thank you, Shirley Young, for getting the number 2 gifter badger. Y'all are the bomb.com. Dr. Sean is out. I just can't. I love y'all. Stay positive. Peace out. We going from hood to hood. It's up from here. It's up and it's what? Stuck. Up and stuck, y'all. Peace out, guys.